Hello everyone. Today, let's talk about entrepreneurship, a beautiful world of entrepreneurship, which is not limited to any opportunity and which has an ability to transform the whole world by solving big problems, by creating a social change, by being able to be innovative with its product, its services, by being able to present a new dimension, a new life changing solution. So, it is basically an opportunity or an act which has an ability to create and upscale the business to generate profit in a different level. When we are talking about entrepreneurship, it is not just a product or it's not just a thought which has evolved just like that. It has a lot to do with the dreams and thought process to have a line of a career. It is about terms towards life. It is about having an ability to have your life on your own terms. It's about having a vision for having no bosses around you, not restricting to any schedules, not being able to hold back with any thoughts, being able to trust on yourself, being able to create a better world for yourself, and then being able to understand a real adaptability of thought and aim to make a profit. So, the entrepreneur is a person who has a vision towards us, who has an ability to spend, to create an expansion or create a vision for everyone. So, let's understand who is an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is a leader or an analyst, or he has a business plan, or he's looking forward to work, or he's looking forward to have success and make some bucks out of it or make some profit out of it. So, is it all we are talking about, or is it the main thing, the main mindset, or an ability to find a real opportunity keeping beside all the hustle bustle, being able to create a sustainable business with employees, being able to project the profits, being able to understand the underlying threats, being able to fit with the real time market demand, and being able to evolve as a creator. When we are talking about an entrepreneur, some names which always comes in our mind is Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Steve Jobs. Whenever we look at these entrepreneurs, what is the first thing which comes in our mind? It is always success. But behind that success is a huge struggle. There are huge opportunities, what they must have left aside, huge possibilities, what they must have explored, huge solutions for which they have thrived, and they tried to go beyond average person to see the enormous problems, to see what the annoyance of not getting the projected profits would be, being able to forecast, being able to see behind the opportunities and beside the opportunities. Whenever we are talking about behind the opportunities or beside the opportunities, it is basically we are trying to understand the sustainable solution, sustainable positive possibility to be part of that perspective, to remain in the business opportunity. Now let's understand about the misconceptions which are there with entrepreneurship. Usually, an entrepreneur, a person who is taking this ability and an activity of entrepreneurship ahead. The first misconception is every entrepreneur need to have a great idea. Entrepreneurship is very easy, or maybe it's just a risky gamble, or it is found in a small businesses, or it is about small business plans or small ventures or something like that. Well, whenever we are talking about entrepreneurship, we are talking about some characteristics in a person. We are talking about a person who has been able to create a revolutionary dream, who is able to think, advance of a society, who has been able to create an idea which is stuck in his mind, his head, and being able to execute it. So, entrepreneurship is an activity, It's a concept basically what a person has assessed, person must have conceptualized. It could be a business opportunity or it could be a service opportunity. I guess beyond everything, it was his ability, the person's ability who has, been adaptive with all the risks, may it be financial, may it be physical, may it be societal. And the person had a hope to generate profit out of it so that the product can remain sustainable, the idea can remain sustainable. I hope you all remember the ad of idea, which always used to talk about what an idea, Sergi. So when we always see Abhishek Bachchan talking about what an idea surgery, Abhishek Bachchan is thriving about a punchline of a company. That company is a concept driven company. Likewise, every project, any entrepreneur ever try to conceptualize, that person is trying to create a ability, try to assess the acceptability of that very product in the market. So, entrepreneurship is the ability and readiness to develop, organize, and run a business enterprise along with many uncertainties to make profit. The most prominent example could be starting a new business. So, for that, what exactly is the mindset an entrepreneur is going with? Entrepreneur is looking forward to seek an opportunity, understand the real time gap in the market, understand the real time demand in the market, assess the supply of a raw material to cater to that demand, being able to understand the elasticity of price of that very product which is already existing in the market, being able to take the risks beyond the security. Because when we are talking about security, we are basically trying to assess that if any proposition is way too secured, you will find a huge opportunity, you will find a huge competition in it, because everybody is like stepping into a market which is highly resourceful, highly easy to be part of. So that market doesn't lead an entrepreneur to be able to upscale with its entrepreneurial abilities or its entrepreneurship activities to take the business ahead. Every person needs to have an idea to push through a reality, need to have a real time reality check with his passion. When we are talking about passion, every entrepreneur needs to understand the deeper purpose behind the sheer mechanism of operating a business. I guess for every entrepreneur, profit is just the perk. Profit is just the source which is upscaling, which is letting him upscale his opportunity to go ahead. Profit is not the only thing an entrepreneur strive for. His perseverance is to go and deal with all the obstacles which is there to be able to achieve. So what is he thriving for? Is it just the profit? Profit is just the perk, trust me. He is thriving to obtain the success of that very idea, which is always thriving him, always creating an opportunity for him to be more resourceful, being able to accept the challenges with more open-mindedness, being able to be like a sponge like nature wherein you're able to adapt with all the real-time changes in the market and evolve as a good successful entrepreneur. So when we are talking about evolution of entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship is not what we're talking about which has evolved recently. It has always been there since the evolution of a mankind. Had entrepreneurship not been there, we could have never talked about an opportunity like business ever been created in the economy, or rather we could not have thought about economy at all. Because an entrepreneur is a person who creates a business, who creates a business paradigm, who creates a business opportunity for everybody who is sustaining in the market, who is having that vision to create, or who is rather immediately focusing on creating a solution for every type of problem in the world. Might it be from the start of mankind where people were starving for food. So that time also, when we are talking about in ancient times when the barter system used to be there and economy was evolving, that time also some entrepreneur must have all must have been there to create this particular concept of barter system. Today we talk about exchange of goods and services with money. I mean, like, when we are talking about anything which is an exchange, it is just to improve the society, it's just to improve the standards of jobs by creating new opportunities, new product line, being able to constantly ensure that world is in progress, being able to ensure that society is continuously improvising. So entrepreneur is the person who is creating a job opportunity in the society. He is having a dynamic vision towards us. He's there to be a leader. He's trying to create incremental wealth in the economy. He's there to create a change. He is there to create an overwhelming opportunity where a lot of people can find a scope for themselves in the form of growth, being able to adapt to their ability, being able to lead the business towards growth, being able to contribute in the particular type of thought. So let's understand how the entrepreneur would be, how the personality of an entrepreneur would look like. So entrepreneurship is the activity in which entrepreneur needs to have a vision. He needs to have that adaptiveness for change. He is there to create wealth. He is there to create jobs, but at the same time he needs to be very, very innovative. He needs to adapt the change by assuming the major risks in the terms of equity, their stakeholding, the investment of time, the career commitment, the value for money, by providing the value for goods and services, being able to create the technological advancements so that the product can become more efficient and the world can have more improvised form of the product. So when we are talking about an entrepreneur is a person who is always on move, who is there to create a change, who is there to solve all the burning problems, who is there to explore things who have never been explored before, who is there to create an improvised form to the world with its ideas, creativity, business, products, services. So when we are talking about an entrepreneur is a person who is looking forward to infuse value by securing the resource of that very product, by being able to allocate the necessary skills and resources for making that product more secure, that service more secure, more competitive, more useful. So an entrepreneur basically decreases the poverty because they are creating the wealth to the organization. They are adding to the national income. They are adding to the new wealth in the economy. They are bringing in new ideas. They are improvising products and services. They are they are creating the whole paradigm shift. So they are the people who are actually responsible to bring globalization, where millions and billions of people are connected through internet, who are creating the whole world as a global village where everybody is working in the more improvised format. This is also an idea. When we are talking about an internet is also an idea. When we are talking about international business, international hotels, it is also an idea. So entrepreneurship is the key. Entrepreneurship is the seed to every thought. So entrepreneurship is the soul of every business. So we need to understand how do people become entrepreneurs. So what the essential ingredients would look like. We just learned that these people are super crazy to get their ideas to the world. They are looking forward to explore more. They are there to create a change in the world. They are there to eliminate poverty. They are looking forward to become a game changer in the product by launching the new product with the new service. Had entrepreneurial spirits would not have been there in the society, we would not have ever been able to see humankind progressing from bullock cart to cars which are being driven by diesel and petrol, and people like Elon Musk bringing an electronic vehicle and being a game changer. Had entrepreneur not been there always on his toes, we could not have thought of something like space tourism. We could not have even thought of concept uh, like global biological warfare. These are all different concepts which are uh, always been conceptualized by people who are always on their, expedition to explore, to create the right utilization of their time. They are there to create a right utilization of their equity by calculating the real risk. So they are the people who are there to change the world. They strive for better. They strive for creating a new funnel of opportunity by raising the capital, by bringing in noble causes, so that like an opportunity like social entrepreneur can be there when the world can become a better place for everyone to live. So, what is the ability we always look forward from any entrepreneur? An entrepreneur is a person who is looking forward to venture in a team, who is looking forward to be always creative with his skill set, and who is always looking forward to marshal the new resources. How can we make our product more better? So, when we are talking about an entrepreneur is a boss, right? Entrepreneur is a person with a vision. Okay, would an entrepreneur can remain sustained with the same thought for the rest of his life? No. Entrepreneur is a person who is always creative, who always strive for freedom, freedom of expression. He or she would dislike the existing opportunity. They would always strive for something more, something better. They would often feel suffocated with the resources they might be having. They would always strive for something more to it. They are the people who are fundamentally skilled with the solid plans, solid business plans. They are the people who are looking forward to invest in flexible hours. They are not looking forward to work with the legitimate workload. They don't have any boundaries. They are self driven. They are passionate to achieve. And they are beyond this expression of disability that we don't have these resources. These are the people beyond the excuses. They are the people who are looking forward to feel guilty if they are not being able to achieve the right targets they must have set for themselves to grow. So they have the vision to recognize the opportunity, and they often face contradiction with the existing opportunities they have. They would always feel confused with whatever they have in hand. They always strive for something more to it. So let's understand the historical perspective on entrepreneurship. As we rightly understood in our earlier slides, when we spoke about had the zeal of entrepreneurship not been there, we could have never seen the evolution of city culture, business opportunities, cars, or maybe airplanes, or something like that. In this slide, we are talking about the latest evolution which has happened in the 18th century, 19th century, 20th century. How companies eventually, from the traditional mindset to technological side and been adaptive to new changes and maximized the opportunities by leveraging on the abilities, leveraging on the opportunities, leveraging on having the more creative thoughtfulness to the needs of the emerging client in the market. So let's understand what does an entrepreneurial venture would look like versus the small business. How the small business would look like and how the entrepreneurial venture would look like. Any business would always be limited to the size of employee, size of opportunities, size of practices, size of situation, size of environment, the adaptability of the existing customer base towards the market opportunities. On the other hand, the entrepreneurial venture would be above and beyond all these things. he would be the person, or the company would be the entity who is always looking forward to pursue the opportunity which is there in the market with the innovative practices, and looking forward to maximize the profitability and growth of the organization. So let's understand. Here we are able to explore how the entrepreneur would look like. Entrepreneur is a person who is very, very curious, very experimental, very innovative, and looking forward to be a game changer. He's looking forward to experiment, transform, revolutionize, looking forward to create and achieve the higher level of greatness in the product and services being launched, because that product would be his baby. The product would be right coming in through his imagination. He's looking forward to overcome all the obstacles around him and looking forward to achieve all the goals. So entrepreneur is unstoppable. So let's understand, who would stop an entrepreneur? Well, government too. The rules laid out by government, the economy, they always create, I would not say a barrier, but would create a right set of rules and policies would any entrepreneur need to take care of before venturing into a product. So aspects of entrepreneur should be, or would be, any entrepreneur would like to venture into financing, corporate entrepreneurship. Any entrepreneur would like to have a cognition, the global entrepreneurship movement, family businesses, entrepreneur education, women and minority entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurship. They all contribute in the trends being set by entrepreneurship research. They all basically form entrepreneur. So when we are talking about all these type of entrepreneurs form entrepreneurship as a disciplined entity to talk about, or as a research to talk about, here I would like to quote some example of some very, very popular brand names like Disney. Well, we all know Walt Disney co-founded the Walt Disney Company, which is one of the leading motion picture studio. He was also a visionary of a theme park like Disneyland and Walt Disney World. His brand started with the creation of a Mickey Mouse character and eventually expanded to include characters like Snow White, Cinderella, and more. His only vision was to create a fairy tale land for the kids. So, when we are talking about he was looking forward to live the dream of living in a fairyland, he was an entrepreneur. He had a vision. He was looking forward to overcome all the adversity, the challenges such as people stealing his work, commercial failures, people not believing his work, people not having a right commitment towards his vision. But he was continuously pushing it. And now Walt Disney doesn't require any of the introduction in the world. Walt Disney is been known as one of the greatest entrepreneurs any economy ever had, because he always stayed committed with what he wanted, because he was the person who always wanted to have a progression in life. His process included the context, he was always exploring. So let's come back to the concept of an entrepreneurship. So, entrepreneur is a person who is looking forward to identify the opportunity like Walt Disney did. Walt Disney saw an opportunity with kids, with theme parks, with the fairyland, with the dreamland. So he was able to create a potential opportunity for the demand of that very type of product by understanding that unique, distinct possibility with adding the right innovation to it, creating a right value for it. That is the only reason people have been going to these Disneylands, these Disney worlds, being able to consume these souvenirs and keeping them as a memory with them that they have visited this very theme land created by Walt Disney. Had he not been able to create a competitive advantage by creating a right set of organizational principles which brought his organization apart and create a competitive edge for himself, he would not have become so distinct. So, an entrepreneur is a person who has a vision, who is looking forward to start the venture, and who is looking forward to manage the venture. So, entrepreneur is a person who has an idea, who has a plan, and who has an action how to go ahead with that plan. So let's understand who are the types of entrepreneurs which are there in the economy. Some of the popular types are novice entrepreneurs who doesn't have any business experience, habitual entrepreneurs who have a business experience though and looking forward to create more entrepreneurial opportunities, nascent entrepreneurs who are always in the process of starting a new business and who is looking forward to, they are basically a combination of a novice and habitual entrepreneurs. They are looking forward to explore new and they have the ability or they have the habit of exploring new to it. So here some of the common characteristics of entrepreneurs would be he would be committed, he would be determined, perseverance, of course, because a entrepreneur is a person who is self-driven, who has the self-motivation. He is not looking forward to be driven by somebody's idea. He needs to have his own drive to achieve, who is looking forward to create an opportunity or an orientation for himself to grow and for his team, who is looking forward to create initiative, who has a responsibility towards his own idea, who is continuously persistent towards problem solving, who is always looking forward to take a feedback to improvise his product, who is looking forward to control the internal details, who is looking forward to tolerate the ambiguity. If anything goes wrong, he has that patience to take the whole team together to go around to his goal, being able to create an example for the world with his abilities. Here, let's take the example of another world famous entrepreneur, Mark Zuckerberg. Well, we all know him because of Facebook. We don't know him because of Facebook. I would rather say we would know him because of the success of Facebook. He's a person who is known for, like his ability to think beyond the traditional form of communication. What an idea of Facebook is. The idea of Facebook is instant messaging, where everybody is being able to connect on a global platform despite differences of space, place, barriers of countries, uh, barriers of timeline, being able to be connected with the peer group. So that was the first thought behind creating a Facebook when he was in Harvard. That time he had a basic thought of that except on intranet, what a parallel networking site would be where the peers can be together and they can have a friendly chat. Right now, we are talking about his personal net worth between $70 billion or maybe more than that. How he was able to achieve this very net worth? Through his idea, through his single thought of being able to conceptualize a single platform where the peers can interact, where the friends can be together, where the friends can have a good time together. So he had this calculated risk taking ability. He had this tolerance for failure. He had high energy levels. He was very creative and innovative with his approach. He had a vision. He had a self confidence, independence, and of course, he was looking forward to build a team where everybody can stay alive, everybody can lower down their individual expectations and being able to contribute in the company's expectation to grow, being able to remain persistent with company's vision, being able to remain stronger, being able to remain controlled with all the opportunities around, and then having that sustainability which is continuous in nature, which is continuously telling them never to give up. So, entrepreneur is a person who is going to believe anything is possible. Every opportunity is possibly to be done. Every risk is worth taking. Every focus is important. Every hustle is challenging. Nothing is unrealistic. And a person who has a vision to make things grow, being able to create, being able to learn, being able to thrive, to grow always, and being able to remain motivated to do every small thing in detail so that you are able to live your dream and become an entrepreneur. Whenever we are talking about entrepreneurship theory, we are talking about always a function, an ability, a goal, plan, risk taking ability, independence, decision making ability, human relations. So here we are talking about his style. His style is talking about avoiding all the low risk and being able to capitalize on all high risks so that that person can see the profit where everybody cannot see. So entrepreneur is a person who choose between the risks, that which risk is the most difficult to take, and choose the right risk. So, what is the dark side of entrepreneurship? The dark side is always the financial side or risk side or the family side to talk about. At times, psychic risk as well, where people tend to go psychological impact of failure on themselves, because not every entrepreneurial move would be a success. So when we are talking about not everything will be a success, so here we are talking about that things may fail. When things may fail, here we are talking about accepting everything, having that tolerance, that you are being able to create an opportunity and then you are able to take the right risk. Today we are going to discuss about Sarah Blackley as well. She was the first one who she bought Spanx brand in 98. She is the first creator of women leggings. Well, we never thought that what a company like Spanx net worth would be. I would rather suggest you, why don't you just Google it a bit? She specializes in shapewear and innerwear brands because she invented that when woman is looking forward to work, woman is looking forward to grow, woman is looking forward to go out and socialize, woman will have the first need to look good, look in shape. So that was the need, and she was able to rightly fulfill that particular gap in the market where she had no competition. And right now she is one among the youngest self-made female billionaires world can ever have. So getting over fear, that is again one among the very, very important aspect, because you need to trust yourself, you need to imagine what the worst would be, you need to realize that what the value would be, like on what value you are going to create the empire looking forward for. Is it family, is it finance, is it career, is it your emotion, is it your psychic? So the model of entrepreneurial motivation would look like an entrepreneurial, well, I would always say it is an array. It is always in loop, because you would always say there's an expectation, there's a decision, there's an implementation. Decision leads to strategy, strategy leads to managerial behavior, then leads to outcomes, outcomes lead to rewards, rewards lead to further comparison, comparison further leads to decision, decision further leads to reception. So, at the end of the day, whenever we are talking about entrepreneurial motivation, it is continuous in nature. Nothing can stop an entrepreneur to create what he's looking forward to create, because he's always in search of a new idea. He's always looking forward to innovate. He's always looking forward to know a good idea, which is never easy in nature, which has both personal and societal wealth, because he's always looking forward to create an opportunity which has a recognition, and who is able, and that opportunity is being able to create wealth not just for himself but for the world, for the society. And creativity does need courage, needs imagination, creativity, systematic analysis, being able to turn problems into opportunity, that ability to see the unknown, being able to recognize that problems are to solutions, being able to be creative in the thinking process, being able to assess, being able to have the right process to be goal oriented, being able to design a sustainable platform, being able to be resourceful, being able to upscale the people who are working with you. So at the end of it, any entrepreneur needs to have a very, very strong thinking process, creative process, which will have knowledge accumulation, which would have incubation, which will have ideas, which will have evaluation, which is again continuous in nature. And again, needs to have a right creative climate where you have trustful team with you, right communication channel, right personality type, which is suiting the evolving of the product, being able to select and promote the product in the right way, being able to select the right team you're going to work with, being able to systematically use the brainstorming sessions, and need to have sufficient financial backbone, managerial arm, human resource, time resource, and being able to have that motivation to accomplish the goal. So, as we are moving further, entrepreneur is a person who is very, very innovative, who has a right key function to look forward to have expansion. He has invention ability, he has an extension to make his process, his thought beyond the boundaries. He can duplicate a lot of the ideas and he has the right synthesis to grow the ideas. He would have the ability to fight with all the unexpected occurrences. And he has process, which is continuous in nature. He is looking forward to fight all the demographic changes which would come in his way, being able to fight and understand the right societal changes, market changes, industry changes, perceptual changes, knowledge based changes, and then being able to conceptualize the right knowledge base for himself so that he can create the right product which is beyond invention, extension, duplication, and has a right synthesis. An entrepreneur at the end would be a myth buster. The first myth which is there with entrepreneurship is innovation is planned and predictable. So, my dear friends, innovation can never be planned because it is instant. Like you may undergo various knowledge, you may undergo various thesis research, you may undergo various surveys, but your analysis, which would evolve through your combination of tacit and explicit knowledge, it would be instant. So it cannot be predictable, it is instant. So technical specifications should be thoroughly prepared. Well, I would say if it is instant, how can you have a preparation for it? You can have a roadmap in your mind, but you cannot be just ready for it. A creative person would have would not just have a random idea, would have a strong idea, which would definitely have a certain blueprint in the subconscious mind, which leads to big projects, which leads to better innovations, which leads to the better driving forces, which further leads to innovation and success. With this note, that's it for today. Thank you so much. Let's look forward to evolve that entrepreneurial zeal we all have within us, and let's look forward to grow. Thank you.